Solo edition here on a Friday. Welcome in, guys. We got a lot to talk about, a lot to get into today. Episode 159 is at you. We get the hot take update. I'm going to talk about some hot takes I have that have already failed, so that doesn't look good. I got the top 5 games of the week headed into week 5 of the NFL. We've got your NCAA schedule for this weekend. See if there's any games that you should watch. We got your MLB playoff bracket started. And of course, we've got the headlines of the week, guys. It's on the other side of this. All right, guys, welcome in. Hope you've had a fantastic week. It is Friday. It's payday. It's a great day when that check hits the account. I don't know about you, but that's how I feel. Always a good day when it's Friday. I do work on Saturdays, but I got a short Saturday route, and we'll be home. I got some things planned, but that'll come later on in my what's in my locker at the end of the show, so you can come find out what I got looking into this weekend. I've got a lot to talk about, guys. We've got a lot of stuff going on. It's a perfect time of year. It's my favorite time of the year, actually, where the sports all align. You got football going on, you got baseball postseason, you have NBA starting up, you got hockey starting up, and it's just the perfect time of year where sports are flowing. The weather outside is getting cooler outside. I live in Texas, so it's hot 99% of the time. 86 today. That's a little bit of a cool down, which we'll take. 80 degrees over the weekend. We've got Halloween, we got trick or treat, we got pumpkins, we've got Thanksgiving, and it just keeps rolling into my favorite time of the year. So I'm pretty sure it's a lot of people's favorite time of the year. But it's perfect. We got I'm gonna give you a hot take update, guys. I came out with 5 hot takes before the season started. Okay. And 2 of them have already been shot down. That's not good, right? You want your hot takes to hit, right? I got a hot take of the season. I want it to come true and make me look smarter. But guys, there's nothing wrong with admitting that you are wrong in life, right? There's nothing wrong with it. It takes a strong man or person to admit when they made a mistake and when they're wrong. It's okay. There are a lot of people in the world today, they don't admit when they're wrong. Even when they're blatantly wrong, they won't ever admit to it. And that's an issue. But I was wrong on 2 parts. And I said one of my hot takes was that Matt Ryan was going to go to Indianapolis and resurrect his career and take this team and make him good. And that's wrong. That's false. The Colts are an abysmal football team. They beat the Chiefs. They have no clue. This weird year that's been happening with teams that are not supposed to be upsetting teams or winning, and it continues. They played the Broncos last night in Thursday Night Football, a game that a lot of people wanted their Amazon Prime back last night because that's how bad it was. And I need to do a whole segment. It won't be this episode on the Broncos panic meter, but they need to be panicking there in Denver. Indianapolis, it's just not going to work out. Okay. Matt Ryan doesn't look very good. He had one really good game this year, but other than that, he's been really bad. And I figured a guy that came from Atlanta that had no weapons in Atlanta, or they were kind of in the middle of a rebuild. And Atlanta, to me, had held on to their star players way too long to try and win a Super Bowl. And they didn't know when to let go. And they all let them all go pretty late. And he had pretty good stats last year in Atlanta. So I said he's going to come to a team that has a better offensive line, the best or one of the best running backs in the league, so he can do the play action pass. They can focal point the offense with the running game, and that'll help him open up the passing game. And he's a veteran quarterback. He knows how to work that, so that'll go in his benefit. And they got a good defense. Well, it's just not working out. Okay. And there is no resurrection of Matt Ryan's career. He is washed. He is done. He's got a noodle arm. Um, Indy is not looking good. After the season, it's fire the head coach. It's break it down and build it back up. I feel bad for the Indianapolis Colts because they had their star quarterback walk out on them a couple years ago in Andrew Luck, and they've been just looking to get by since then. And I feel that's just a terrible feeling. I feel bad for Indianapolis and their fan base to have their quarterback do that. They had their franchise quarterback, and he said, "You know what? I'm going to retire right before the season starts." And that's a bad look on on Andrew Luck, big time. And they've been just trying to fill in the quarterback position with veteran quarterbacks. They had Brissett there, didn't work out. They brought in Villa Rivers, didn't work out. They brought in Carson Wentz, didn't work out. And Villa Rivers took them to the playoffs, but they ended up losing. And then Carson Wentz was a bust. If I figured that'd be Carson Wentz's resurrection, nope, he's still a horrible quarterback. But now with the Commanders, and Matt Ryan comes here and just looking at the numbers last year, I said, well, look, he put up decent numbers with Atlanta, and they weren't a good football team. So he's coming in with a little more talent on the running back position, the offensive line, the defense. I figured they turn it around, and this is not going to happen. Now, I say it's not going to happen. They still could make the playoffs. They could win that division. The division is garbage. The Titans are garbage. The Jaguars are playing better than people expected them to, but we expected them to actually win the division? I don't know. They could. I could see a way that they do, but I don't expect that to happen. So the Colts are still in it as far as maybe the playoffs and that division victory, but they're obviously not going to make a wild card spot. And Matt Ryan has not resurrected his career, so this will be the end. This will be his retirement year for Matt Ryan at the end of the season, hopefully, and he's able to move on and hopefully make those right decisions. That's one I got wrong. I'll admit that. Another one I got wrong, and this goes out to you, Ryan Sims, that I talked to you already about it. Oh, sorry. We do have some comments here. Sorry. All right. Good to have you back, Patrick. I just saw your comment. He says he's here listening and he's working. Let's do it. So good to have you back, Patrick. I know our times have fluctuated and we've had some things going on, but good to have you back. And I know you've been busy at work. Patrick works for me, so good to have you there, brother. But this one is out for, I guess, the Cowboy fans in general. This one, I guess, Patrick as well. But this one's out on out for Ryan Sims. He's texting me, asking me about the Cowboys today and what I thought about them going into the game this week, what I thought about them this season. And I had a hot take before the season started that Trevon Diggs wasn't going to be very good. I said that because last year he when you saw him last year, he had 11 interceptions, fantastic that way, but he let up a lot of yards. And I said, well, realistically, looking at it, those interception numbers are going to go down. And he's not going to have 11. He's not going to have 8, 9 interceptions this season. And he's going to let the big yardage, and it's not going to look very good. And I'm dead wrong on that. I don't know if it's Quinn there that's just a defensive mastermind, a defensive can just teach these guys. But in 1 year, Trevon Diggs looks like a shutdown corner. Okay, he wasn't a shutdown corner last year. People went at him. He bit on all the fakes. He's really good ball hawk, and that's probably from guarding his brother, wide receiver there in Buffalo. He probably guarded him growing up, so he probably knows how to catch a football. And I was dead wrong on this. The Cowboys look like they got a steal. It looks like they got a really good player, and if he looks right now to be in the top 5 of the cornerback position so far this season, and he's looking elite, and that's really good for the Dallas Cowboy defense. And this Dallas Cowboy defense is elite. They are pretty scary for a defense out there. So good luck throwing the ball. Protect your quarterbacks. They get to the quarterback at a high rate. Micah Parsons is just an absolute machine. But then you got their cornerbacks and their safeties are playing good. This defense, the question marks that we had coming into it, they've answered these question marks. And Trevon Diggs has been fantastic and looks like an elite cornerback in this league. So that's terrific news to Dallas Cowboy fans. And I was wrong on that hot take. Patrick says he's worked on just not going for the interception, looking good, and that's exactly right. Last year he took a lot of risk, and you sometimes you get rewarded for it, right? With 11 interceptions, sometimes you give up the most amount of passing yards in the league. You give up that touchdown pass, but this year I think he's taking less risk. He already has 2 interceptions in 4 games, so that's good on him. He's still getting those interceptions for you. It's not going to be at that rate of 11, but it's good that he's getting some. He's shut down these wide receivers, and right now it's looking like he's going to pan out to be a staple point for your defense and coming for a long time. And if you have a guy like Micah Parsons who's just unstoppable, and you got a guy that is a ball hawk and is a lockdown cornerback in the NFL, that's a pretty good start. I mean, you got Trevor Lawrence on the other side, one-on-one, he's unstoppable. So you've got a good defense. This defense has answered a lot of questions that we had going into the season. I think the offensive line for the Dallas Cowboys has held up pretty nicely this season as well. That's another big question mark we have for the Dallas Cowboys, and they've held up pretty nicely. Now, you did just lose Jason Peters. Jason Peters did injure himself in practice today and will miss some time. I don't know how long, so that does add some questions there. Jason Peters stepped in, and he's 40 years old, but he stepped in and looked really good on this offensive line. Now you've got to figure out, I think Connor McGovern is going to take his spot. They were talking about that today, but so right now, I came on here and did a solo shot a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago when Dak Prescott went down, and I said that the Cowboys panic meter was a 12 out of 10. Okay, it was way over. Their panic meter is probably at a 2. I think you're maybe at a 0, right? You guys have won games you shouldn't have won, that you didn't think you were going to win. Let me say that. You didn't think you were going to win those games because of losing Dak Prescott. We got to give some credit to McCarthy, even though I don't like to say that. Right now, he's looking like coach of the year. Who loses their starting quarterback and still is in the still's 3-1 and winning games. Yeah, Patrick, it popped up. I looked at it about an hour or two ago that I heard that news that Peters is out. So I don't think his season ending or anything like that, but I'm not sure how many games, but he will miss against the Rams, and that's just not a good sign right there against that defensive front from the Rams you got to face. But the biggest question I think right now going in for the rest of the season is how Dak Prescott's going to look. We saw him game 1. He looked really, really bad. It's probably the worst game, one of the worst games I've seen him play. Now he was playing Tampa Bay. So your hope is that he can come in and have the same production, at least the same production. He should have a lot more production than what Cooper Rush has been giving you. And I think he will. I think they've got to simplify. It seems like they've simplified the offense a little bit for Cooper Rush, and that's maybe why CeeDee Lamb's getting open and then CeeDee Lamb's getting all these touches. And he's looked really good. Game 1, he looked really bad. He's looked like that number 1 wide receiver you need him to be. So there's a lot of question marks that the Cowboys have answered in the first 4 weeks of the season. You got to wonder about Dak Prescott when he comes back, chemistry with the team. But Dak Prescott's better than Cooper Rush, so you would think that adding him back in would just give this offense a boost, and you would be just better off with Dak Prescott and still win games. And this defense is going to keep you in any game the way they're playing. So that can take you a long way. But those are 2 hot takes that I missed on. And I just wanted to give you an update on that. And I told Ryan I was going to do that this episode tonight. Or today. I started a little earlier, but Patrick says, just don't think Dak is the guy. Plays bad against good teams with a lot of garbage stats. That, I mean, I'm not going to argue you on that. Like, to me, Dak is a good quarterback. Does he beat good teams? Does he, I don't think so. Like, his record is not that great when they play really good football teams, but Aaron Rodgers' record playing very good football teams is not very good either. Dak does get a lot of garbage time stats a lot of the time, and last year their offense, they led the league in offense. Um, so it's very interesting because some of the numbers say that Dak Prescott's a really good quarterback, but the eye test, sometimes I look at it and say something's off, something's not right here, and um, it's hard to argue that. It's hard to argue with numbers, but you look at the eye test, and you wonder about him sometimes and his accuracy with the football and his decision making. And I think right now, Cooper Rush's decision making is looked fantastic on his reads and where he's going with the football. I do think that his biggest test is going to come against the Rams and that defense, but we'll have to see. You hope that Dak first comes in and stays healthy. That's the biggest. That's the biggest question mark. And then number two is is you don't want the chemistry to be lost with Lamb, and if Cooper Kupp can come in and get Lamb going, and Dak Prescott can't, then that's an issue, a big time issue that you've got to wonder what's going on there. But I don't know. Just going off, we've only seen him one game this season, right, and it didn't look very good. So we're gonna move into the top 5 games of the week, and we have some pretty good games going on this week. Number one, I have the Bengals going to the Baltimore. This one's going to be a good game. These are two rivals. They play each other tough. This is a division here. They play each other really tough. I think the Bengals started off slow this season. I think they're kind of getting back in that rhythm. I don't think they're the same team they were last season. There's something I think they're still missing from last year, or where they just came in and they were offensive juggernaut, and they played really good. But they beat the Jets last week. They're going to get back. They get back on track, and then they travel to Baltimore. Playing in Baltimore is difficult, and Baltimore just gave up a big time lead to Miami, and they just blew a 20-point lead to the Buffalo Bills last week because their quarterback can't continue drives in the end of the game. If he completes a couple first downs against Miami, they win that game. If he completes a couple first downs, and your head coach kicks a field goal, the odds say you probably win that game. But your head coach makes a boneheaded decision, and the Bills run it down your throat and kick the field goal. And then the week before, because Lamar Jackson stopped playing football in the last half of the game, you lost the football game. I think Baltimore wins this one. I hope the Bengals do, but I just think Baltimore isn't going to come and let another one slip. I think Lamar Jackson is, number wise right now. He looks really, really good, but and this team, I saw a stat the other day that's pretty crazy that they're 2-2. Their 2 games that they lost, they only they only lost the lead for 14 seconds combined in both those games. So they led all game except for 14 seconds in their 2 losses. So they're 14 seconds away from being 4-0 or 3-1, but they're 2-2, and I just don't think they're going to let this one slip. Second game of the week, I got the Eagles, still the only undefeated team in the league, going to Arizona, and I penciled the Eagles down for the first loss of the season. I think the Eagles lose this one. I think this is their hardest test so far in the NFL season. They do have a pretty easy schedule. It does get more difficult during the end of the year, which bodes well for the Cowboys if they're fighting for that number 1 spot, and the Eagles' schedule is harder at the end of the year. Maybe Cowboys can sneak out and beat them out for it, and the Cowboys are still definitely, they're only 1 game back. But I got the Cardinals winning this one. I think they're gonna be able to get to Hurts. They're gonna be able to get to Hurts and fluster him. And to me, the Eagles, they've played great football. They played well. They've played easy teams. Okay. And I know I don't like to take away from them just because the schedule, right? They don't pick their schedule. So I don't like to sit here and go, that they just played easy teams, but they've got the job done and won those games. 4-0. They came back against Jacksonville last week when that looked like that looked like they're going to be their first loss. And he did look bad last week, as Austin points that out. Um, I think they are overhyped as well, Austin. I'm not buying into the hype as much. They do look better. Don't get me wrong. They look better than last year. And I thought this offense is going to look the best. This defense looks pretty good. They're getting to the quarterback on a regular basis. They sacked Carson Wentz 9 times, I believe it was, some crazy number like that. So when the Cowboys play the Eagles, it's going to be a battle of the defenses, and I think that's going to be a good matchup. But I just think Arizona's got the firepower to beat them. Arizona needs a win desperately to stay in that, to keep up with that division they're in. And I do think the Eagles are overhyped a little bit. And what I see from watching them is um, obviously adding A.J. Brown to this offense helps their quarterback and Hurts. It helps out this offense a lot. I really like the pickup. He's an absolute beast. Um, this offense to me reminds me of, it's like a college offense in the way where they run the ball. It's a lot of um, RPOs, and it's a lot of Hurst running. And when you can shut him down running and force him to throw with his arm, can he still beat you? And that is the question mark I've had for Hurts. That's the question mark I got for Lamar Jackson. Um, and I just think this is the game they lose. And I think the coach has done a fantastic job there. The drafts they've had is fantastic. Making their owner is one of the best in the NFL at getting value and getting picks and making trades. And I think their future looks very bright. But I'm not buying the hype yet because I haven't seen it. We haven't seen the consistency of winning. And um, this team was not very good last year, and now they're the only undefeated team in the league. You got to give them some props there. You got to give the head coach some props there. But I'm not buying into the hype just yet. So I'm with you there, Patrick. Definitely. Number 3, you got Dallas traveling to the Rams. It'll be a home game for Dallas. That Rams coach even came out and said we're going to be practicing silent counts in our own home stadium because of the Cowboy fans that are out there. And that's absolutely ridiculous that your home team and your home stadium can't get their fans to come out there. So that's insane to me. So we saw it a couple years ago when you played there that the Cowboy fans do show up, and it's basically a home game for Dallas. So I actually have the Rams winning this one. This one's a tough one. If I had to put a percentage on it, it's 51 to 49 Rams. It's a coin flip for me. I look, the Rams look bad on Monday night against the 49ers. They look terrible. Their offense can't get anything going, and that defense ran all over them. So I could easily say, well, the Cowboys defense is going to run all over them. The Cowboys defense is going to run all over them, and if Cooper Rush does what he's been doing, then they should win this game. I could see that, right? I could see that definitely. But this is going to be Cooper Rush's toughest matchup. And you got the front line. You got Aaron Donald to deal with. You got Jalen Ramsey in the backfield there, on the defensive backfield. And I think Jalen Ramsey has kind of been, I'm not saying he's not good, but I think some of that charm has come off of him being the best cornerback in the league. And he's still good. He still can make it pay. But I just think this defense is going to give Cooper Rush some problems. And I think that they have the firepower to cover CeeDee Lamb and force others to beat you. And I think that's why they win. I could definitely see a way that the Rams lose this game if Stafford comes out and throws a couple picks and gets sacked 7 times. I don't think they're winning this game. The Rams cannot run the ball whatsoever, so it is all on Matthew Stafford's shoulder and how long can you keep him up. And Allen Robinson's been a no-show there. All they have is Cooper Kupp. So does Diggs shadow him and make someone else beat you? I'm not sure how they're going to play it defensively, but they've got to somewhat protect this quarterback and Matthew Stafford if they want to win this game. But I think they're going to get the job done. It's going to be a close game, a low-scoring game, probably 23-17, 23-20 type of game. but I got the Rams winning that one and handing Cooper Rush his first career loss of the Dallas Cowboy. Raiders and Chiefs. This one I put on here because it's a division game. This is one of those division games. If the Raiders show up with the talent that they got, it could be a competitive football game. I do pick the Chiefs to win this one, and I do think they win it pretty easily. And maybe their coach is one and done there with Las Vegas because this team just looks bad. They're not playing to their potential. This coach is supposed to be an offensive mastermind, and their offense has been abysmal. You got problems there in Vegas. Um, Patrick says, no, sir, 5-0 for Rush. Hey, look, like I said, it could go that way. And I went back and forth on this because of the Cowboys defense, and they're going to be able to get to Matthew Stafford. But this will be Rush's toughest defense he's played so far. And I think if they can get the running game going, that'll take a lot of pressure off of Rush and allow him to make those smart decisions. He's been really smart with the football. He's had a couple passes that look like they probably should have been picked, but they weren't. So they didn't make the play on it. But the Chiefs are going to beat the Raiders. I don't think this is a question. I only put this on here because it is a divisional game. And then I got number 5 as the Steelers. They travel to Buffalo. And Buffalo is going to win this game, I think. But the Buffalo's defense is really good. And I put this on here because this is Kenny Pickett's first start in the NFL. He played last week, stepped in for Mitchell Trubisky because Trubisky can't move the offense. They can't score any points. And adding this guy last week gave their offense some energy. And that's why I said it's Kenny Pickett time 3 weeks ago, because we know what Mitchell Trubisky is, and he's nothing. He's not a good quarterback. He is a bus driver, and bus drivers aren't going to win you games. Now, the Bills should win this game. The Steelers' defense should be pretty interesting to watch and go up against Buffalo and their high-powered offense there. But and the Bills struggled against the Ravens for the first half of the game. They came back and won that game, but they struggled up against a good defense. And the Steelers do have a good defense. I'm interested to see, though. I want to watch the Kenny Pickett show and see what he's got against. And this is what a heck of a opening game this is for him. Hey, welcome to the NFL. You've got to play the number 1 defense in the league in the Buffalo Bills. I got the Bills winning this one, but I'm really interested to see what Kenny Pickett has and a new era there in Pittsburgh. And that's great for you guys because you just knew Mitchell Trubisky wasn't doing it. And you now got you another potentially a really good quarterback there. He played great in college football, so it's going to be cool to see him grow in the NFL. But we got the NCAA schedule coming up, guys, this weekend, and there's going to be some good games. A couple weeks ago, we didn't really have any good games. Now we got some good games rolling in here. Number 8, Tennessee travels to LSU. Number 25, that should be a pretty decent game. It's going to be 11 o'clock on Saturday. And sorry, Patrick, you must be on a little bit of a delay. Patrick says, right, welcome to the league, talking about my Kenny Pickett there. But yeah, that's one heck of a welcome to the league. But going back to the college football, sorry, Patrick, you must be on a delay. I'm not sure. If you guys are listening to the show and you want to talk to me directly on our live stream, you can do that through the YouTube channel. We do get some Facebook comments, but I cannot see them on here, unfortunately. I wish I could. But Tennessee, number 8. This is a team I don't think a lot thought they'd be at number 8 right now. They look good. They play some tough defense. They've got a decent quarterback and some offensive weapons there, and they've got their head coach has got them playing really well. And they were ranked coming into the season, but I didn't think they'd be in the top 10. So this is really good for them. They're really looking on the upside. And then they travel to LSU at number 25. They just lost their they've just got their head coach from Brian Kelly from Notre Dame. LSU number 25. That's a little low for their standards and where they want to be. wild things can happen in Louisiana in that stadium. This one, I don't know. I don't really pick college football games because I think it's there's a lot. Well, first of all, there's a lot of teams. It's just a lot of players to go to keep up with. But I'm kind of rooting for TCU. Not TCU. I'm always rooting for TCU, but Tennessee in this game. I kind of root for them to win. I do like LSU a little bit. I'm a TCU fan and I follow BYU, but I've kind of always liked that Louisiana voodoo, Louisiana LSU going on there. But and then you got it's the Red River shootout, guys. Red River shootout. I don't think we're supposed to call it that anymore, but I don't care. Texas goes to OU and plays. They play there, and it is going to be interesting. But I think Texas wins this one. They get their quarterback back and Quentin Ewers, and Oklahoma just got absolutely mud stomped, curb stomped, dog, whatever you want to call it. They got curb stomped last week against TCU, and I don't know if they're going to recover from that. That could be their downfall. Quentin Ewers coming back for Texas. They have a really good defense, and this is the first time in a long time these two teams have played each other, and neither one of them are ranked. It's been a long time since this has happened, so that shows that these two teams have been pretty good, and been ranked for a really long time. At least one of these teams going into it. But I got Texas winning this one. I just feel like Oklahoma is not as strong as they used to be. They just got dominated. I watched that last week by TCU. What an absolute beast of a game that was. Oklahoma looked lost, and you're getting Quentin Ewers back for Texas. And if Quentin Ewers was back, and if Quentin Ewers was in there the whole game for Alabama, I think Texas wins that game. And we're talking about a ranked Texas team, probably in the top 10 if they continue that success with him. But he's back and healthy. This defense is playing well. I think the Texas is going to win this one. And then you got Utah number 11 versus number 18 Ellis or UCLA. They're traveling there to California to Utah to play them. And sorry if I don't take sips every now and then of my drink, my voice goes out. So a lot of talking here. Utah's interesting. They were really high hype this season. They were number 8 or 9 headed into this year. They're number 11. They have some talent. I'm just not a big believer in them. They travel to number 18 UCLA, who've been playing really well as of late. Who's their coach? I gotta look up their coach. He used to be the coach for um, the Eagles. He came in for the Eagles. He used to Chip Kelly. There we go. Chip Kelly was really good in with Oregon. Went to the Eagles. Was really bad in the NFL, and then went there and really hasn't done too much there. But this season, they look to be on track. And UCLA at number 18, that should be a really good game as well. Then number 16, ranked BYU, baby. They go and travel to Notre Dame. Notre Dame is not ranked. They lost their quarterback at the beginning of the year. The other quarterback came in and peed down his leg. If you want to see what a quarterback looks like when he literally pees down his leg, you need to go watch him play. It was two weeks ago, and he looked scared, deer in the headlights, peeing down his leg. They ended up winning that game barely, but it was 3 and out for like 7 drives straight. It was bad. Just couldn't make a throw, throwing the ball into the ground, couldn't catch a snap. It was, I mean, that's the definition of peeing down your leg in a game. This one I just put on there because it is, you got BYU who's been playing pretty good. They got some good wide receivers. Their quarterback looks pretty good against Notre Dame, who always on these lists of being a hyped game. I'm interested to see BYU can win. Maybe Notre Dame comes back, but the head coach there, Notre Dame, is not looking very well for him. First-time head coach. That's a tough job to be a first-time head coach to take over Notre Dame and live up to that hype and expectation. You got Texas A&M, who is unranked, traveling to Alabama to face number 1 Bama, and this one's going to be interesting. Okay, I know Texas A&M ain't ranked. They were supposed to be. They started off the season ranked. They should be ranked. The talent on this football team is too good. There's been rumors about what's his face? I'm horrible with names. I am just terrible with names. Their head coach, I forget his name, Jimbo Fisher. That's right. Why do they have some weird names? Jimbo. There have been rumors that Jimbo Fisher's on his way out and in some trouble. I doubt it. They gave him a big, huge contract. Um, he just had the number one recruiting class out of anybody else. You got to give these guys time to develop. I think believe their quarterback got hurt as well. Um, and if they do, they got to buy him out at like $95 million. It's something insane number like that. They're not giving that money away just to get him out. But this one's going to be interesting because these two head coaches hate each other. There's been back and forth, and that's why I put this game on here because usually Alabama blows away whoever they're playing, especially if they're unranked. But this game, they might come. Texas A&M might come to play, and they might come and maybe upset them. I doubt it. I seriously doubt it. But any given Sunday, any given Saturday, the saying, anything can happen, especially in college football. I just think Bama takes care of business at home, and they get the last laugh on Jimbo Fisher and winning this game, and I think they probably win big. All right, guys, that's your NCAA schedule. We had some pretty good games going on and there for college football this Saturday. The MLB playoffs are here, baby. Let's go. My team sucks. They're not in there. I'm a Texas Ranger fan. But this is the playoff picture. And let me look up the scores because you actually had some games going on right now. Last I looked, the Cardinals were going to take game one. They should have won that game. They were up in the ninth inning. No way. Oh, sorry. I'm just in shock. The Cardinals were up when I started this podcast in the top of the ninth, 3-1. And now they lost. They lost 6-3. Wow. Wow. I'm in shock, guys. Sorry, this game was going on when I started the podcast, and St. Louis was up 3-0 against the Phillies, and Phillies scored 6 runs in the bottom of the ninth, or the top of the ninth to win this game. Absolutely crazy. Um, absolute crazy. Wow. So Phillies take game one there, the best of 3 series of St. Louis. I figured St. Louis would win that one, and they still can. It's just now an uphill battle. You got the Guardians took over game one. They won 2-1 over the Tampa Bay Rays, which is also another one that I figured the Tampa Bay Rays would win that one, but they went up 2-1. Mariners surprisingly leading the Blue Jays right now 4-0 in the bottom of the fifth. And these first matchups are only best 2 out of 3, so it's just the first who wins 2. So if you lose game one, it puts you in a bind to try to get back, and winning back-to-back playoff games is very difficult. Blue Jays are probably the third best team roster-wise in American League, and they're losing 4-0 to the young Seattle Mariner group, whose Seattle Mariners have not been into the playoffs since 2000. So they're breaking a 22-year drought there, and wow, that's crazy. Oh, Patrick, you and me both, says he wishes the Rangers weren't garbage. You and me both, and it made it hard for me to follow baseball this year, man. And when my team's that bad, it's just hard to follow and try to watch. And you expected them to be watchable. That was my one thing for the Rangers going into this last season was be watchable, right? Be watchable. And they just weren't. They spent a lot of money. They spent $500 million going into the offseason, and they've got some good guys. And it was nice to see the young guys they brought in. Young to play third base. His first hit was a home run. Welcome to the big leagues. They've got the pitchers. They just fired a bunch of pitching staff coaches, which is great news for us. We're looking to develop these young. There's some young talent on the team, and I think our future is headed in the right direction. But they were bad this year, and it's just hard to watch baseball when they're that bad. Um, the Mets and Padres start their series tonight. In that game, the Mets had the biggest lead, and they ended up choking it away again to Atlanta. And now they get the Padres, who are a really good baseball team, to try to win the best 2 out of 3 to go into that. I'm actually absolutely shocked that the Phillies put a 6-hole spot up to beat the Cardinals. That was a crazy game one for them. It's hard to recover from too. They got to come back in a couple of days. Maybe I don't think they play tomorrow, but the day's rest and scratch off giving up a 3-run lead to lose that first game. So you got St. Louis and Phillies that just went over. You got the Mets and San Diego playing tonight. The Mariners are up on Toronto, and then Tampa Bay lost to game 1 to the Guardians, and Houston took the number 1 spot in the American League. Unfortunately, I can't stand that team. And you got the Yankees there at number 2, so they'll take the winner of the higher seed that wins, and then it's going to be interesting. Now, the Dodgers are the best team in baseball. They won 109 games or something like that. It's an asinine amount of wins for them, and um, I'm really interested to see who's going to win this year. You're probably looking at Houston, LA. Um, in the championship. That's going to be my guess. I would like to see Atlanta go again. I really like what Atlanta's done with this team, this organization. They know how to win. They've been there before. I think it comes down between Atlanta and LA to go to the championship, and it probably comes down between New York and Houston to go to the championship. And you got a rematch, and Houston's a really good built baseball team, and the New York Yankees are as well. So you'll have Aaron Judge there trying to get this team to the championship, and what a year he's had. And we'll get into him in the headlines here and a little bit of him hitting number 62 and how we feel about that, because I'm really interested to see how you guys feel. But that's your playoff brackets. We'll keep you updated through the week of that, and who's going to continue on. Um, let's see. We can speak. Okay, we'll go into it right now. We're going to go into the headlines of the week, and there's not a whole lot of headlines of the week, but it'll be right after this, guys. All right, guys, headlines of the week. And number 1 is got to be Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge made history as he broke the AL home run record with hitting number 62 the other night in Texas. Yeah, he hit it right here in Texas, in Arlington. And the guy who caught the ball is going to be a millionaire. Okay. This guy catches the baseball. There really was no fight. No, he just caught the ball with his glove, went about his merry little way. And that ball that same night has been offered $2 million at the auction house. So there you go. That guy just won himself basically a lotto ticket, buying the ticket to the Ranger game, and won the lottery. This guy's going to be a millionaire. And I wish I could have gone and caught that baseball. I tell you that, but he's going to sell that baseball and make millions of dollars, which is awesome. I don't know how some people say it's not the right thing to do. You should give it back to Judge. I ain't giving that ball back. No, that's life-changing money for me and my family. And I'm taking the money and I'm going on about the business. And it's kind of funny. There's a story back in the day. They're going over this when they're bringing up the Mark McGuire, the race, and Sosa and Barry Bonds back in the day. And the guy that actually caught the record-breaking home run, or the record home run of 70, or not 73, it was 70 or 71 that McGuire hit. I believe it was 70. They were like, "Hey, we need the ball back," and he was like, "Well, let me meet Mark McGuire and shake his hand." Um, hold on, Austin. I'll bring that comment up in a second. But the guy just wanted to meet Mark McGuire and shake his hand and get an autograph, and Mark McGuire said no. So that guy took the baseball and sold it for $2.7 million. And that's all he wanted to do. Let me meet Mark McGuire, shake his hand, and I'll give him the baseball. And Mark McGuire said no. So then he took the ball and kept it and became a millionaire. Now, this is very interesting topic. I've been very interested to see feedback on this. And Patrick says it's because he's a Yankee. It's all hype. Record of the AL breaking into college games. It's not the major league record. And if you think that dude has never juiced, you're nuts. All hype for them Yankees. Now I'm going to totally disagree with you there on that one, Austin. I'm going to disagree with you on that one, and I'll go into why. Well, first, my question was, do you guys consider this a big deal? Some people didn't. Some people did. Um, do you consider Judge the home run king now? Do you consider this the record? Bonds did hit 73. You're right. Mark McGwire hit 70. That is correct. They've been spinning this. Major League Baseball has been spinning this as the AL home run record because the record for the American League, because all those guys, Sosa, McGwire, and Bonds all did it in the National League. This is the American League because the only other American League player to do it hit 61. Judge hit 62. Now, I don't consider Barry Bonds to be the home run king. I don't. He cheated. Mark McGwire cheated. Mark McGwire owned it, though. Mark McGwire admitted to taking steroids. Barry Bonds didn't. Barry Bonds took steroids. We can't even begin to have this conversation if you don't think Barry Bonds took steroids. I don't care if he didn't get caught, but he took steroids. This guy's hat size grew in his late 30s. His shoe size grew in his 30s. Your shoe size and your hat size do not keep growing. You do not, unless you're taking some type of steroid to do so. And that's factual information. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say you don't have to have talent. The hardest thing to do in sports is hit a baseball. It's the hardest thing to do in sports, period. It takes talent to do so. Was Barry Bonds very talented at what he did? Yes. But taking steroids makes you stronger. Taking steroids makes you stronger. It gives you more power. More power, stronger means faster bat speed through the strike zone, which means you're allowed to hit balls further out of the ballpark. Bro, Judge ain't little. Come on. I know Judge ain't little. Judge is actually like 6'8". He's a huge human being. But is his head size growing and shoe size growing later on in his life? I don't think it is. And I'm not going to sit here and assume that someone took steroids and cheated without any proof or there's not been any accusations of him taking steroids. There's no accusations or proof that Aaron Judge has took steroids. Babe Ruth is the home run king. He could do it while drinking a beer and smoking a cigar. There's no pouch in Judge's couch. Stop it. Oh man. No, but I do not think I'm going to crown Aaron Judge because as far as we know, he did it cleanly. And if you break a record, now it may not be 73, but he broke the American leagues. And baseball has this weird way of splitting American League and National League up. They have an American League Coach of the Year and a National League Coach of the Year. It's not just Coach of the Year. It's in the American League and the National League. And they've done this to themselves. And I think baseball's done this to themselves by not coming out and actually saying, hey, this is a record. We're standing by it. They've kind of been hush-hush on this deal. Hey, no, you're right. He didn't break the baseball record of 73. But he broke the American League record. And he did it while not cheating. Now, only Aaron Judge and God knows if he cheated, right? But there's never been any accusations of him cheating. There's never been any of that. And I'm not going to just assume because he had a fantastic season that he's cheated. I'm not going to do it. I just refuse. You can call me naive. You can say that everybody in baseball's probably cheated, and everybody in football is probably cheated in one way or the other. I'm not. I'm just talking about like taking stuff. But with Barry Bonds, you cannot tell me he didn't cheat. There's a book on this, on facts about Bonds and stuff. I forget the name of it. Um, but y'all guys should go read it. And if you guys think that Barry Bonds didn't take steroids, you guys should go read this book. And I need to find it. Hopefully, I'll be able to look that up before the show ends. But you, you, my buddy Ryan came on the other day on Facebook when I asked this question, and it was like, Bonds didn't ever get steroids. I'm like, I can't have a conversation with you because Barry Bonds took steroids. End of discussion. That is 100% factual. He knew the system. He cheated the system. He didn't ever get caught. Kudos to him. But he took steroids. And when a record is being close to being broken, if you don't want to consider it a broken record, and he did it without cheating, I think that's better than cheating and getting 73. So I'm clouting Aaron Judge, I'm clouting him the home run record king right now. Just because he did it cleanly. Now, if it comes out and says that he cheated, it comes out and says that, later down the line, then I'll come on here and bash him. But yeah, Patrick says, just look at Bond's early years. He was a twig when he entered the league. He definitely was a twig. And then he goes and he bulks up and takes steroids and he hits the ball out of the yard. And it was fun to watch. Mark McGwire was fun to watch. Sammy Sosa was fun to watch. And I grew up with that, with watching these guys chasing the record. You watched them every night, and it was exciting. And baseball is hypocritical because baseball allowed this to happen. Baseball turned their eye. Baseball turned their eye on steroid use, and because that home run chase resurrected baseball. It did, period. I mean, it brought eyes from everybody around to watch these guys hit home runs. It brought people to ballparks. It brought people to ballparks hours earlier just to watch these guys hit batting practice, to catch a ball from one of these guys. It brought back the sport, and baseball turned a blind eye to it because it knew it knew how much money it was going to make them, how much people coming back to the sport. And then the government said, well, actually, so baseball, I just found this out the other day too. Steroids have always been illegal in baseball, but back in the day, through the Players Association, baseball was not allowed to test for them during a certain time. They weren't allowed to test for them back in the day. So these guys could be taking it, and there's no way to prove, no way to test for these guys to see if they took steroids in the Mark McGwire era. And so Mark McGwire's argument was, well, these were legal when I did this. This was legal what I was taking. They weren't legal. They just had no way of testing you because the Players Association struck a deal that said you cannot test for steroids. The government actually stepped in and said you cannot allow guys, you have to test for steroids. You cannot allow guys to be on steroids. And so then they started testing, and that's when Mark McGwire basically got found out, and then they kind of looked down upon it. And it's like, wait, but you guys knew this was going on, profited off of it big time, got eyes in the seats of baseball games, and now you're being a little hypocrite about it. And I think that is the black cloud on baseball from back in the day. But I loved watching it growing up. Yeah, Patrick says maybe he's the AL king, not MLB king. Yeah, they that's why they did this, breaking into college for the AL record, trying to hype it. and because it's the Yankees. Would it be breaking games if it was the worst team in baseball? I don't think it would be breaking games if it was the worst team in baseball. Maybe if it was obviously the Yankees, they did it for the Yankees. The Boston, I believe someone like a staple point for them. Maybe the Cubs. Cubs are a bad baseball team, but I think if it was on the Cubs because of the history, they probably would have. If it was on the Texas Rangers, I don't think they do. If it was on, if it was on the Dodgers, they're breaking in. I think if it was um, a historical team, I do think they break in. And you make a good point because I thought about this too. Baseball spun this as the AL record. So that's what they talked about. AL records, the AL records, the AL record. They threw that in the face because they haven't taken a stance on Barry Bonds records. They haven't come out and said one way or the other that 73's record. They agree with it. It's been this kind of this black cloud. And these players that have taken steroids, like Barry Bonds, who has the record of 73, and um, and Roger Clemens, who took steroids, and Mark McGuire and stuff, they're keeping them out of the Hall of Fame. So to me, if baseball can sit here and keep these guys out of the Hall of Fame because they knew they cheated, then baseball needs to step up and put an asterisk next to this record, and say, hey, this was a great record. It was done with some cheating. That's why this asterisk is here, and I think we can all live with that. But the fact of the matter is they're keeping these guys out of the Hall of Fame, and they're not taking a hard stance on one way or the other. That's kind of their stance. We're keeping to keep you out of the Hall of Fame, but we're going to keep these records. And to me, it's just hypocritical baseball, and I think that's why they were spinning it. AL record. It's the AL record. It's the AL record. That's why they did it, and I think it's such a hypocritical baseball. I think they should come out and take a stance. 70, come out and say, if you're going to allow these records to maintain and 73 is the record, then you've got to let these guys in the Hall of Fame, in my opinion. That's how I see it. If you're not going to allow them in the Hall of Fame, then you need to come out and say 73 is a good record. It has an asterisk next to it. It has a cloud of cheating and steroids, and we're going to consider 62 to be the record. Something they need to take a stance. They're sitting on either side of the fence. They're congratulating Aaron Judge for 62 in the AL record, and they're not allowing the steroid guys in the Hall of Fame. It's time for baseball to make a decision, and it's hard for us fans to make a decision on how we see it if the sport itself won't make a stance. So that's where baseball's lacking on this, in my opinion. But I just think I just going to credit Aaron Judge with it because I feel like it was done clean and was any record and you may not consider it broken, but and Craig would probably agree with you, Patrick, but that's because he's a San Francisco 49er or not 49er fan, San Francisco Giants fan. So he'll say you're right, Patrick, but he's a little biased because he's a Giants fan, and he was Barry Bonds maybe the reason he is a 49er I'd say 49ers Giants fan, but we'll have to see. And I'm so interested on this topic. It's such a good discussion. And thank you. I appreciate you, Patrick, for being on and talking and doing these discussions because it's a that one right there is one of my favorite things to talk about as of late. The second headline of the week is Cole Beasley retires from the NFL after 11 years. What? He just played a game last week. He just got picked up by the Bucks. Maybe it's because Tom Brady said, hey, you probably want to go home to your wife because if you don't, she's going to leave you like mine is. I don't know. But what I get from this is they picked him up for one game. He caught like 2 or 3 passes because their roster was injured and filled with holes at the wide receiver group. Now they're all back, and Cole Beasley ain't going to touch the field. That receiving group is great, and Cole Beasley wouldn't have got any time, and he said, screw it, I'm just going to go home. I'm going to retire from the NFL. And that was it. He was a good slot receiver. He had some good years. I'll take him in Green Bay right now. We need some wide receiver help. But I think right now, I think he's kind of being not, I wouldn't say blackball, but a lot of people are kind of staying away because um, of um, what is it, COVID takes or whatever you want to call it. But he kind of annoys me because when he left Dallas, that's all he talked about was the Cowboys. I'm like, bro, let it go, would you? Just let it go. Let it go. Stop talking about the Dallas Cowboys. You seem a little butthurt. He's like the ex-girlfriend that leaves and won't just leave it alone. But he was a decent slot wide receiver, and we played him in high school football. He was the quarterback for Little Elm, so that's always pretty interesting. Draymond Green in practice punches Poole. Poole was really good for this team last year, but Draymond Green punched him in the face. They had a fight. Draymond Green got in his face, and he punched Poole, and it's not cool. Not cool at all. That happens. Their fights happen in teams. You have really competitive football and baseball and basketball players, and then things get heated, and you say something you shouldn't, and things happen. Um, the the um the team didn't really care for it, and I can't really stand Draymond Green. I can't. I don't like him. I think he's a punk. I think he's a very smart basketball player. And he's okay. He's a guy. He annoys me because he talks a lot of crap, but he's a guy on the team that doesn't do a whole lot. Like I think they have success without him. Um, they have the championships without him because he doesn't do a lot. He plays really good defense, but he talks a lot of crap for a guy that doesn't do a whole lot. And um, I just think that's annoying and arrogant. But they had a fight. It'll wash over, and this won't be a thing. He'll be suspended. He'll be slapped on the wrist by the team. The punishment is coming. But I think there's going to come a point in time where they go, look, you don't really do a whole lot for us, and you cause a lot of problems with your mouth, and it's not going to be worth it anymore to keep you here in Golden State. So I don't know. A couple more of these. There's been stories about him going after different players, going after his own head coach when he had surgery. Found that out today and was like, man, this guy's a head case. So watch out for that. But those are your headlines of the week. That was so redneckish. Those are headlines of the week. I covered a lot going in. We've got the hockey not playoffs. We got the hockey preseason going. We've got NBA preseason going. Dallas Mavericks play tonight. I believe they won their game the other night, but it's preseason. It doesn't really matter. I'm excited to see Luka back in action with the Dallas Mavericks, and also the Dallas Stars going to start up soon. They did sign their player. I forget his name. Craig was going off on it last episode about this guy and why they haven't signed him, and I'm really glad that the Stars decided to sign this guy. He is their leading scorer, and what's his face is Robertson signed him to a 4-year, $31 million deal, averaging about $7 million a year. So that's fantastic for the Dallas Stars and their future. And I feel like the Stars are gonna have a pretty good year. I just feel it. There's something I feel in the air here in Dallas, but their head coach, I'm interested to see what he can do coming from the teams he has. And he came in and took the Knights to the championship year one from so hoping he can come in here year one and get us to fight for him. There's a lot of mixed reactions on the head coach hire, but I'm excited to see him and see what he can do. And I'm excited for hockey. And I haven't really been a big hockey fan. I was as a kid growing up, but I fell out of it, and I really got back into it last year in the playoffs. I said I'm going to turn on some hockey playoffs, and I was hooked. And I've always been a Dallas Stars fan, growing up with Madonna and Zuboff and Brett Hull and all of them. So I'm still a Dallas Stars fan. I need to get a sweater, what they call them. I'm hoping to go to a couple games with my brother this year, at least one, and maybe maybe me and Craig will go as well and go see him, because if you've never been to a hockey game, go. It'll get you to be a fan after one game. It seems like a playoff atmosphere all the time. It's really really fun. Austin, I don't know if you're still on, but if you have you ever been to a hockey game? Because I'm telling you, if you go to watch a sport, like some sports are better to watch in person, some sports are better to watch at home on the TV. Baseball is better to me in person. And they're about the same. They're about the same. I'd rather be at the game, but I could watch baseball on TV. Football, I'd rather watch on my TV. I'm not gonna lie. Going to the games are fun. Tailgating is fun. Fantastic time. But sometimes you have a better experience at home on the I got an 85-inch TV on the wall. So you oh, Austin says he's never been. Watching hockey, um, watching hockey on TV, not all that satisfying. Going to a game will change your experience. I guarantee it. Austin, we need to get you to a game this year because it is Austin said he's never got into hockey. I'm just getting back into it. So you can jump in on with me on for the ride. We can agree on a team. We can be a Dallas Stars fan together, but we should get you to a game because I'm telling you, after one game, you're gonna like it, man. You're gonna like it. Going to the stadium is electric. I've never been to a playoff game, but just a regular season game, it's electric. Watching on TV is fun, but it's nowhere near the experience you get going in person. And I've only been to one basketball game before, and I'd rather watch it on TV. So there's a couple sports to me I'd rather just watch it on TV. And going to the stadium is cool, but I'd rather just see it on TV. Hockey is not that way. Hockey, if I can go to the stadium and watch it, I'm going to the stadium to watch it. The only problem is got to go to Dallas to do so, and I don't ever like going to Dallas, and I only go to Dallas for concerts or sporting events. Yes, Patrick, let's be Stars fans. Let's do it, man. I started watching the playoffs last year, when I was a kid, like I was just saying, I grew up a Stars fan, um, and then with Madonna and all them. But when they left the team, I kind of stopped being a hockey fan. But I picked it up last year, and yeah, let's be Stars fans together. All right, guys. Well, I've got what I got left for you is what's in my locker here, and there it is. What's in my locker this weekend? Um, well, in a couple weeks, I'll be headed to Houston for a training for my work. I'll be down there from Monday through Wednesday in a hotel at the corporate office, and we'll be doing the training program they're rolling out for the job. So that's going to be interesting and fun, kind of cool to get away and take a little paid leave to go down there and do that. So I got that coming up in and not this week, but next week. So that'll be interesting. Um, October's very full and very busy. We got trunk or treats for the church, the trunk or treat at the school we're going to. We already got the girls' Halloween costumes. They're gonna be all the girls from what's that movie? Oh, why am I drawing a blank? It's the Bruno movie, Encanto. There we go. They're gonna be the girls from Encanto. We already ordered their stuff and got it here. We ordered it probably like a month ago, so we make sure we get them, and we're gonna have fun with that. Yeah, I gotta do something with the girls this weekend. I told the wife, I go, they got a little extra money. I want to take them out. I'm deciding what to do. Whether I want to go to the zoo or I think I'm gonna take them to Chuck E. Cheese. They haven't been in a while, and they love some Chuck E. Cheese. So we'll probably go to there and go to the park and just soak some time in with them. Trying to figure out stuff to do with them. There's not really any kid movies out right now. There's some alligator one. I don't know what that is, but so I'll probably take them to Chuck E. Cheese tomorrow and have a good time with them. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. We started the Dahmer show, the Jeffrey Dahmer show. It's pretty creepy right off the bat. Very weird. Um, Trying to get into that Halloween mood, right? You watch those creepy, scary movies. This is a creepy, scary show on Jeffrey Dahmer's life and what he did. But we also went on a date a couple weeks ago, or it was last weekend, and we watched Smile. And that's actually a pretty good movie. Now, well, when we watch these scary movies, a lot of them are not very good, right? A lot of them are they're they're just not good. No one makes a lot of good scary movies, paranormal. Sorry, Patrick put a comment. I don't know if I want to put that on here. Um, I might put it on here in a minute. He's talking about the Jeffrey Dahmer there, but Smile is Smile is a good movie. I recommend to go watch it. Do you watch scary movies, Patrick? Do you get into that this time of year, especially? But I thought it was good. The wife said it was good as well. A lot of the paranormal have a horrible. This one isn't paranormal, but well, I guess it kind of is, kind of. But um, a lot of those scary movies, they don't have a really good script or a really good storyline. It's just kind of at the end. If you watch, if you, I watched Sinister one time and it was just a dumb ending. It was like, all right, this is just stupid. But no, this one was good. Had me jumping a couple times in the theater. It was a really good one. Patrick says yes, he loves horror flicks. Um, my wife doesn't like the gory stuff, like Saw and stuff. So it's got to be she likes the horror movies. It's got to be one that's not like just gory like that. But go watch Smile, man. Smile is actually really good, and it's pretty creepy. It'll get you scared. But we like to get into the seasons and get into the holidays, and that's one way to do it there. Yeah, if you like creepy, go watch that Dahmer. If you go watch that Dahmer documentary or story or show, it is pretty creepy. Um, yeah, and I didn't know Patrick. I didn't know that Dahmer was gay, so I don't know much about his story. Now my wife is interested in that type of like serial killer stuff and trying to like she knew about Jeffrey Dahmer, she knew about his story, and I didn't know a whole lot. I don't go to look that stuff up. She likes those kind of murder mystery things and like that. I don't know. I think a lot of women do. I don't know. It is it's interesting, but um, I'm not gonna answer that question. But but she likes that kind of stuff. But I don't know. I'm not. I don't. It's interesting, but I'm not into it as much, I guess, as other people are. But it is interesting. So we'll finish it. It's just something you obviously don't want to watch around your kids. So it's hard. We got to find the time to. um, it says all women do, and I do too. Yeah, I think a lot of women are like that. Like they'll watch those things, and I don't mind them. I just don't search them out and know a lot about them. But his life was pretty messed up. They go through his childhood, and who knows if this is an exaggeration, right? But they go through his childhood, and you see how horrible his parents were, um, and all that stuff. So if you want to watch it, it's really creepy and cringy, and the things he did were insane. But we started watching that. Go watch Smile. It's really good. Um, there's a burger place that opened up called BB's Burger Shack. It's a really good burger place off Beach in Western Center. Go try that out. It's a really good burger. And there's a place if you like salads, and I do like salads. Um, it's called Salada. It's opening up on the 13th. My buddy Brandon's been telling me about it and how good it is, so I'm gonna try that out. Other than that, there's not much going on other than this weekend. Just trying to do something with my kiddos, and before I go out of town the week after, obviously gonna hopefully watch some college football this weekend, and I hopefully be able to watch my game. I don't know if it's gonna be on. Um, I'll put that up in a second, Patrick. My Packers travel to London, and it's stupid. I hate playing in London because we start at 8:30 in the morning here or something like that, and don't know if I'll be able to watch it. But yeah, so going back to the Dahmer thing, Patrick says I think his dad was trying to bond with him and didn't realize he was creating a monster. And his dad realized he liked surgeries. I guess he realized that he liked that kind of thing, and they would go pick up dead animals on the side of the road and do like come home and cut them open, perform surgeries. It's like, well, no wonder this kid's is crazy. Like, what do you? It's like it's weird. It's some weird stuff, but definitely created a monster. All right, guys. Well, that's gonna be your episode today. I knew it was gonna be a pretty long one, just going solo, an hour and 15 minutes in. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Go and my challenge to you guys is to go out and live in the moment of life. Go out and um, start a tradition, start a Halloween tradition, get into the seasons. I want to see you get into the Halloween season. I want to see you get into Thanksgiving and the Christmas coming up as well. I want to see it, dive into it, make traditions with your kids, and you won't regret it. I promise you will not regret it. And we're working on something here on this podcast platform, and Jeff's working on it, getting it ready for us as well. But we're trying to branch out and do more than sports. And so I'm working on getting a couple of my buddies on here to talk about life and just different things, life in general, about being a father, being a husband, and anything, really anything we want to talk about other than sports. So we'll have that every now and then, and um, it'll be called the Outspoken Round Table. Probably would be a good name for that, but keep it under the Outspoken brand and go from there. But we're looking to branch out as well, but we're going to continue the sports. Obviously, we love sports. Um, yes, Patrick. Yes, he said he's like my kid's going to be a doctor. Nope, he turned out to be a serial killer. And they have that in there where they tell his dad. They pull his dad in there and they're like, yeah, your son did all this stuff, and they lay it on him, and his dad's like, what? Um, it's pretty crazy. Go watch it if you like that. If you like that kind of creepy stuff, it'll about Jeffrey Dahmer. But um, that's gonna be it for this episode, guys. Have a great weekend. God bless, and remember to keep it outspoken.